Gillette, the best a man can get.
Top of the morning to you. Welcome to First Things First. I'm Ebony K. Williams in for Miss Jenna Wolf. That is Hall of Famer Chris Carter. Mr. Nick Wright, good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you, Ebony.
It is so good to see you guys.
Absolutely. Looking forward to a great show. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you guys for having me. Listen, we got a lot to talk about this Monday morning, but we're going to start with the Lakers.
Spicy Monday.
The Lakers
Ebony
lost
K.
2 games this weekend, including one, you guys, to the Phoenix Suns. Yes, the same Suns who have the worst record in the NBA. Now, the Lakers are now 4.5 games out of the 8th seed. LeBron's in jeopardy of missing the playoffs for the first time since 2005. After the game, he was asked about just how frustrated is he.
Obviously, we needed this game for obvious reasons, and we wanted to play well. At times, we play well. I think we was always together at times as well. I have the right mind frame of what we were trying to accomplish tonight. I mean, it's just unfortunate with the opportunity that we've had, and we haven't been able to seize the opportunity. And we can't keep looking at the standings. The standings are going to be what they are, no matter what. No matter if you win or lose, you can't. I've never been one to kind of look at the standings. I mean, you've known me for a while. So you just got to go out and do your job and try to do it at a high level throughout 48 minutes and then see what happens at the end of that. So you can't focus on the standings because they shift and move so much throughout the course of the season.
Nick, what do you make of the Lakers' 2 losses over the weekend?
Well, it's total disaster for the team, and it's a perfect microcosm for their season, which is 1 step forward, 2 or 3 steps back. I thought the Lakers potentially, maybe, turned a bit of a corner in the Grizzlies' loss, actually. That fourth quarter of the Grizzlies game, when the defensive intensity was there, when they tried to mount a comeback, they just, after being just dead in the water for the first 3 quarters, they just couldn't hit shots. And you heard LeBron and Luke Walton after the game more encouraged than they had sounded recently. And then you go and beat the Pelicans. And then for 3.5 quarters against the best team in basketball, the Milwaukee Bucks, I thought the Lakers were playing one of their best games of the season. Ingram was having the best game of his career. LeBron was playing well. And then they fall apart, absolutely fall apart down the stretch against the Bucks, and then have add it to the list, a new worst loss of the season against the worst team in basketball. Everyone has to hold accountability for that loss to Phoenix. Luke's rotations were ridiculous. Rajon Rondo continues to play the worst basketball of his career. And when they're trying to mount a comeback, LeBron just misses 2 free throws to keep going with the worst free throw shooting season of his career, where he is now not even an average, but a markedly below average free throw shooter. So everyone's got to own this. And now the Lakers have lost to all of the worst teams in basketball except for the Bulls, but they get the Bulls in a week and a half, so just wait on that. It's still on the board. But Phoenix, Knicks, Cleveland, Atlanta, Memphis, Washington, those are 6 of the 7 worst teams in the league, the Bulls notwithstanding. They've lost all of them this year. And that's how, even though LeBron is having an excellent statistical season, even though Ingram, since the All-Star break, has been really, really good, and that's the only silver lining. That's how this team is going to miss the playoffs.
I mean, it's on the board. I don't want to overreact, but tonight's game against the Clippers, the most important of the season. We didn't think this late in the season, that being March. Now, we didn't expect LeBron James to miss those 18 games, and they're still not healthy. Lonzo Ball, his absence is still missed. But we can't make excuses for the Lakers. If you talk about before the All-Star break, losing to Atlanta, losing to a Pelicans team without Anthony Davis, and now this 3rd loss, man, that's all you can talk about is the games they should have won, because if they do miss the playoffs, those 3 games will be part of the conversation. Did the Los Angeles Lakers, in year number 1, the first day of free agency, Magic makes contact with LeBron James. But since then, what did they do? Because this is the team.
Wrong.
This is the team that they have. Ever since the first day of free agency, they don't have anything that they can say positively outside of, you know something? Ingram might be the big-time player and scorer. We know Kyle Kuzma, we were impressed with him from last year. He continued that this year. But this will be known as the lost LeBron season. Not competing for a championship, first time in 8 years, and to me, what's the difference between Kobe Bryant in his last couple years and LeBron James, what they're doing right now? To me, it don't seem too much different. They're out of the playoff picture. One of the worst Lakers basketball teams that we've seen, that stretch that Kobe went through at the end. And we did not expect this with LeBron James, for them to be this far out of the playoffs this late in the season.
Let me ask both of y'all this. Actually, to that point, Chris, when LeBron announced he was coming to the Lakers, a lot of people said, oh, well, this will be convenient, right? He'll get to say I'm playing with a bunch of young bucks. I get essentially a year off to focus on my Hollywood ambitions and all the other things I want to do outside of basketball. But did anybody expect it to look this bad?
Well, listen, some people thought, Chris Mannix, our friend, said he thought they were going to miss the playoffs, but I don't think he thought it was going to look like this. Now, there's two ways to look at the season, pre-injury and post-injury for LeBron. But the problem is that since he came back, if they had just beaten the bad teams, they're fine. Since he came back, if they had just beaten, as you mentioned, the Hawks, the Pelicans with no AD, the Grizzlies, and the Suns, then they're playing tonight against the Clippers to solidly be in the playoffs. Instead, I disagree with only one thing you said, Chris. You said the season comes down to tonight. I think the season's a wrap. I think even if they win tonight, they would need to go 15-4 the rest of the way. And at what point this year, at what point have we seen the Lakers where we say they can win 3 out of 4 games for a month? For a month plus. I just don't see it. So even if they win tonight and you're like, okay, they're only 3 losses back of the Clippers. They're creeping towards the tiebreaker with them. To me, that won't matter because even if they beat the Clippers, they will find a way to lose a game they shouldn't.
And I don't think it's right that the narrative, because it's going to be out there, LeBron James came to Los Angeles for the things that you mentioned. And those things, basketball being secondary.
Some people
when you are LeBron James, it's a legitimate question. Did you waste this year in trying to pursue the things? Now, we know the people that help LeBron organize things. And one thing LeBron and Maverick and Rich Paul, we talked to Rich Paul, saw him earlier during the season. Man, they realized the main thing is the main thing, and that's basketball. Now, you might have all these shows, but all these things were created, which LeBron, Maverick, all of them know, off of his ability to dominate basketball. Now, with the postseason, if LeBron is not part of the postseason, I said this a couple weeks ago. If the Lakers don't make the playoffs, LeBron James is not the best basketball player in the world anymore. Now, he might have his ambition as far as his next career and other things he's doing. He might be satisfied with that. But watching the playoffs is not something LeBron James in this first year with the Lakers that he was expecting. But for all those out there, because that's a part of it. When you have been in the finals 8 years in a row, you go to a Lakers team that we don't think is competitive. It's on the board that people would think that your outside interests, they've had that type of pull on you, and maybe that's the most important thing to you, even though we've had these discussions with LeBron and people close to LeBron, and that not to be true.
Listen, that criticism will be there. I think that criticism will be ludicrous. LeBron on the year is 27, 9, and 8. As far as guys putting up that stat line, only 5 guys in NBA history have ever done it. You just want to remove the rebounds. Guys in a season that have averaged 27 points and 8 assists or more. It's only 5 other guys in NBA history that have done that, and it's all-time great. So LeBron is being productive, and he's doing it with a heavy workload, and he's doing it coming back from injury. Since the injury, averaging a 26, 10, and 11. But the team's losing. And the team is losing games they shouldn't. And, of course, that's going to fall on the shoulders of the best player. Do I think LeBron's the biggest problem with the Lakers? No. I think the front office did him a disservice. I think the head coach has been a disaster. But even with a bad front office and a bad head coach, you're supposed to beat the Suns.
He's won before.
Right, of course, absolutely.
He's won before. We thought in Cleveland the whole time. Yeah. Behind the scenes, we know there was not a lot of continuity. We know there was issues. We know there were coaches' problems. That's why they changed from
David Blatt to
Ty Lue. So, but in those situations, he still won. Yeah. So when we give LeBron all the credit, you can expect if there is a failure, then he's going to receive more blame than he should receive.
All right, fair enough, guys. Now it's time to put a grade on it. This is sponsored by CarMax. We're going to turn the page from LeBron's struggles. Instead, look at the incredible scoring ability of James Harden.
Best basketball player in the NBA.
Wow. Harden put up 42 in the Rockets' win over the Celtics last night. Nick, put a grade on Harden's performance.
I got to give him an A+. The plus becomes because of the step-back three he hit when the Celtics were trying to mount a run to make it 112-100, where he gets fouled, still makes it, rips their heart out. He was spectacular throughout up until he fouled out of the game and they were able to hold on without him. Another great win for a surging Rockets team that, despite that awful start in the injury sea, is now just one game out of third place in the West.
Yeah, there's no player playing better than he's playing right now. I thought it was a great story. Mark Jones, the broadcast of the game, talked about going to the gym at the hotel early in the morning. Now, they had a 3:30 Eastern tip-off. James Harden in the gym working out the morning of a game. That's not a narrative I've ever heard with James Harden, but that's the reason why he's been able to keep this amazing season going.
So you give him an A?
Oh, yeah, you got the grade. You give out the grades. I just give out the hot takes.
All right, James Harden is focused. Coming up next, should Kyler be the #1 pick in the NFL draft? That's what folks saying, but we'll talk about it next on FS1. You can always check us out on Fox Sports or the Fox Sports app.